Welcome everybody to the Crossover Cinema Podcast. I'm Carlo.
And I'm Kaya. You already know we are here to discuss Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the movie of the year, I would argue, the blockbuster of the year, and
The
definitely
blockbuster of the year.
110%. And I think it's really hit all the notes for a lot of viewers. And I think that what's really cool to see is just an overall hype amongst the fandom, like kind of rejoiced just at a good movie, just an enjoyable movie from Marvel. And I think we're in a really good position right now in terms of R-rated superhero content with stuff like The Boys, and I think Deadpool and Wolverine is a good way to kind of like build on that on the mainstream front. So I'm really happy. This movie was really good. I saw it twice. I saw it back to
I'm
back.
really, really happy you loved the movie. I'm happy you had a nice time. You enjoyed your time at the theater and everything. That's great for you. But there's a part of us, and when I say a part of us, is a part of the public that wasn't that down with everything that happened in that movie. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but for me, I'm telling you, Kaya, we're going in a war right now. This movie wasn't that exceptional for me. Wasn't Didn't hit every spot that I was waiting. It didn't interest me that little Hollywood, like,
Meta.
oh yeah, like if you're in the gang, you understand that thing. Like I understand it, and I didn't like it, bro. Like I get it. It's okay. You could put it a little bit in the movie. We know Deadpool always like destroys the fourth wall. I get it, and that I'm down. But all of that was a little too like I don't know. I didn't like there was that second like arc of enemy that was like Disney Fox and all that kind of stuff. It was like two kind of ways
A
that we're
secondary
going.
villain is what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost. And I wanted more of that. The sister of like Charles Xavier. I wanted maybe more of Wolverine, Deadpool, and I get you could put a little bit, but I think that it was too much for me, and that's where I think it's interesting. For you, it really worked, and for almost everybody, I on IMB it was like out of 10, was really loved around the world. Like it went well, like you say. So
Facts.
I know I don't have the right opinion, like the popular
No, no.
opinion, but I'm saying right
There's
now,
no
for
right
me, that
opinion.
didn't hit the spot.
There's no right opinion. I think it's really just a matter of,
Well, if you like it or
it's a
not,
matter
like
of
that
it's a
kind
matter
of
of
like
of what your tastes usually are when it comes to film. I think that Deadpool and Wolverine is not trying to win any new
yeah,
fans over. It's really just trying
exactly.
to be
But it was
set
bringing
in its
back some
ways.
fans.
Bringing back, yes, I think in a lot of respects, but I think overall these sorts of big team up movies or these big like hero movies where for example Endgame, No Way
Yeah,
Home, they always bring in a big boffo box office just off of the kind of like action figure aspect of it alone, the little toy figure aspect of it alone. You're getting to see the three different multiversal Spider-Man link up, or you're getting to see all the Avengers and all the
yeah, yeah,
teams
yeah. I
hang out.
get it. I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean? And I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine was always going to kind of get by on that cachet, but
Yeah, but
it's actually a good, I would argue, almost a great film. Almost.
that's where we could argue. But I could say
Yeah.
it's a good film. I'm
Like
down with that.
I
A
would
great
definitely I
film.
would say it's almost great. I think there's gripes for me that
Mm.
are like I would say they're like small notes. Small notes that I think would have definitely like enabled the film to be stronger from an exposition kind of standpoint. And I think moreover it's like what are we doing in terms of like I guess their future aspects as characters throughout the film. You get kind of indications that like they want to tee up their narrative in their world, and I feel
Yeah,
like that
and
works
that
for
I
me.
get it, and I
Yeah,
respect that part. Yeah,
that works
that
for
works
me.
exactly.
But I think what I needed a little more of was like a bigger implication of future events because I like that bigger scale. I'm a fan of that. They chose a smaller scale for this film, and I think in some respects it works, and in others it doesn't fully for me. I'll give you an example, right? So Wolverine's backstory in this film, like let's just
Mm.
get right into it, is it's kind of weak. Like
Yeah,
it's very it's
story wise, it's very weak. Like superhero story wise, it
like
didn't work. But for the what
Hmm.
for the story with Fox and like Disney and all that kind of gimmick, it worked well. Like it's enough. It's okay. It's like the the Wolverine that is like the worst of all. You know what I mean? It's okay,
Hmm.
but it wasn't a good backstory for a superhero story wise. Like
It just felt like it
with
was
all,
last minute.
yeah, but it's crazy because it's like you know that it's not last minute. You know that they work hard on
I
that
think the
for a long
rewrites, no, but
time.
I think the
Oh yeah,
rewrites,
maybe a rewrite
and I
would
think a rewrite can
yeah.
come in and maybe make it not as effective. And I think that take a small note. Don't take any notes other than this, but take a small note from Zack Snyder in Man of Steel. He
Mm.
opens that film with just a clear showcase of Krypton and its origins and everything going down to set the stage for his character to go through what he goes through in that film, right?
Mm.
And I feel like that's done really well. Like you can have that film is definitely flawed, but it has an amazing opening. And I feel like what this film could have done was balanced out Deadpool's opening with also giving Wolverine a little more context to
A
his
little more
backstory.
depth.
Just a couple scenes that I
Yeah.
think would have indicated, for example, like what exactly happened with the X Men. Did humans just show up and shoot them down and they just all died to humans with guns? Or are we seeing Sentinels coming in with like Black Ops soldiers with laser beam rifles and they're neutralizing their powers and then killing them? Like that to me would have set a bigger tone and a bigger mood for why he's so messed up. And I feel like they just
Or
kind of
why he
went like
lost them all. Like I'm not
exactly.
even sure why he's not with the other ones anymore. We understand that he killed them, like he did something, but
No, well they died. Those X Men just died, and he wasn't there to save them.
saying them.
Essentially,
Oh, and that's it. But I don't know. I would have liked to see more, but apparently they didn't put nobody from the other cast. I don't know if you heard about it. Maybe
yeah, I think that
I know
that's
they
a missed
wanted to put
opportunity.
some, but they yeah, but they couldn't put some. Like apparently it didn't work.
Whatever rumors be saying, I
Yeah,
really
for
think at
sure.
the end of the day, it's like you have an opportunity. For example, you're adding someone like Chris Evans back as the Human Torch in an amazing cameo. It's so
Bro,
fun.
let's talk about the
Like
cameos
no,
a little bit.
but to
Like
note
Chris
that,
Evans,
right? To note that such a
that
fun
that
cameo.
yeah, but that was a really good part. Like everybody thought that it was
Yeah,
Captain America.
my theater
Seriously, like
really enjoyed that moment. It's just every
yeah,
time.
it's I think it's a really good moment. And if you know, you know. And I watched it with
Absolutely.
my girlfriend, and she didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? And I
Which
was
is
like, yeah,
interesting
it's
to
really
know that
good
people don't know
when
that, you know?
yeah.
That's the thing for me though. I think cameos can only go so far in a film like this, like to a degree. Like there still has to be a solid core story at play. And I think for the most part, outside of that Wolverine backstory stuff, I really like this story.
Yeah.
I really like the like, you know, it's what would happen in the situation of a typical superhero, the world is ending kind of situation, but it's Deadpool this
Hmm.
time. And Deadpool having that kind of like intensity to him. I think this time around, sometimes it was a little change. I feel like when you watch Deadpool 1 and 2, he's almost like fun to like take the pain away. But I found here
Yeah.
he was just actually going through real pain, and you felt it in Ryan's performance, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that about it.
But you're talking about physical pain or more like emotional pain?
Well,
You're
the
just
physical
like,
pain is a given with Deadpool, but I'm
yeah,
talking more the emotional stuff. We're talking like just that intense kind of like that
because
heart pounding, like for example, that scene in the car with Wolverine where he's literally like nothing to say, mouth,
no, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you're
That,
just sitting there
oh
like
yeah, that scene was really awesome.
you feel you can literally feel Deadpool's face under the mask, just be like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna hit you now, like you know what I mean, and it really works for me. I really enjoyed that aspect of it, that
But
dysfunction.
but the action scenes, like, let's talk about them. Like, they were really intense, really well made.
Mm.
I love them. The opening scene
Bye bye bye
was
bye bye.
yeah, was good. I liked it, but yeah, maybe not like the best one who received that scene. Like for me, it was okay. I liked it, but
Well, for example, them
yeah,
fighting
mm,
the 100 Deadpools at the end, right? Kind of like
yeah, exactly. I said to myself, for sure, this is just to get those Halloween costumes out in like 3 months. I don't know why. That's what I felt a little bit fan service on
there's
that.
always a
I don't know.
merchandising
There was
aspect to it,
for
so
sure exactly, and I don't know. I see it already, like the fighting between Deadpool's and all those Deadpools that will be everywhere. You're gonna be the Deadpool you want. They're just there. They just appeared. I don't know. I didn't felt like they were like necessary. I don't know. How did you feel about
I
that?
feel like that sequence was more of we need a third act battle, and they
Yeah,
felt like they teed it
exactly.
up enough, and I feel like it could have worked a little bit better. I really like the music, and I like that kind of like homage to like an old boy style one take, but the one take lacked the energy of a
Mm.
scene like you get in Old Boy
And I
or
get you bring the Deadpool girl, and everything really badass, but didn't have her moment. Like
I
should have like
I think they were
take more
all
time with that. Like
they all lacked a clear moment, save for Kid Pool. Kid Pool had a great line. You know
yeah,
that was
Deadpool had a great line.
because it's true.
And and
He really does have
apparently
Wolverine's pecker in his mouth. That's great.
and apparently the brother of Tom Holland was one of the Deadpools.
Yeah, they had a lot of secret
Mm-hmm.
cameos through that. I think there was even like
Mm-hmm.
a famous soccer player, for example. Like I think
In it, yeah,
it's
for
definitely
sure.
Ryan Reynolds definitely flexing his Hollywood friends list,
Uh-huh.
and I think you could even extend that to the cameos that we got. And I wouldn't even call them cameos. I would call them supporting cast to a degree. So let's just start with the from I guess most anticipated to I would say no least to most. So least nobody was looking or checking for Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
No,
The film itself wasn't well received, and her,
but I liked it. But I
but
like that she came back because in that
exactly.
context of the lost superheroes version that we never saw or blah blah blah, it's true that it's exactly Elektra like, and I like
Like
the fact that she said like,
it fits the
"Where's
mold.
Daredevil? They killed him already." You know what I mean? Like we don't want to see him.
A
You know
nice
what I mean?
way for
Yeah,
her to make a slight at her ex husband, which is you know what,
I like
well
that.
deserved. Sorry, Ben, you got to be the brunt of the joke sometimes. You got to be the
Yeah,
brunt of the joke. But I will say
yeah.
this: her performance here felt like she was like getting her vindication. I feel like it's the same way when other actors come over to the MCU from other Marvel projects made by other companies. They always get like this kind of like zhuzh. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in Marvel now. I'm in the Marvel proper now. I'm in the
Hmm.
sacred timeline. And the fact that
But
they
I think
refer to
maybe
it as that,
Marvel plays stuff to make it look like that. Like that's what they want. Like they want that pride, and you need to be proud of like being part of us too. I think it's like it's a
well,
fulfilling.
you're joining the biggest cinematic universe in the world.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So show
And
that you love it, man.
you know exactly show your heart out. Train for weeks on end for less than 20 minutes of screen time and maybe one or two action flips. You know what I mean? It's worth it. It's worth it at the end of the day. Look at
And the line of Blade, bro. I love that line. Like
there's only going to be
there's
one.
only one. Yeah, bro, that was nice. That
That
was
was great.
great,
I did
and
enjoy
I
that.
really like Gambit. That
Oh,
I
Channing
like
Tatum,
that
bruh.
little.
Shouts out. Channing Tatum really said,
Yeah, I really
I'm going to
like
show out
that
really
little
hard.
Channing Tatum Gambit for me after watching X-Men '97. Like
Like
seriously,
it hits the
I
spot.
liked it. Yeah, I liked
It's
it.
the
Like
Gambit Renaissance.
I would see a Gambit with Channing Tatum. I'm not lying. I would go.
I think you need to tweak it a little more characterization wise, take it a little more seriously.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think
yeah.
if you had
Less
fun with it,
jokey. Yeah, for sure.
if you had some fun with it, I could definitely, you know,
Or if he's in the group, you know what I mean? Like
I
if
could
he's in the
definitely,
X Men,
you know
that
what?
like he has his part and like makes it
Let him
like a
spin off from an X-Men team ensemble movie, you know,
bro.
get
I
his
see him arriving
catchphrases.
with that little pink shirt, bro, in the morning doing his eggs.
It,
Hey everybody, my friends, mes amis. I see it. I see
it would
it.
fit. I think
It
we
would
just
work,
need to
bro.
hire a new dialect coach. And I
Hmm.
think he was definitely joking around.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
think he
was a
was
joke
playing. I think it
version.
was definitely a joke version of what he would have
It never
seriously done.
existed, right? It's like it
I
didn't
think
work. You
they
know what I
definitely
mean?
did some
So
screen tests. I think those screen tests still
maybe,
exist.
yeah.
They even had rumored to have Leia Seydoux as the co-star at one point. I think
Mm.
that was the plan, and that would have been really interesting. I think she's really good at like playing off of other actors like that, and I think it would have been cool at the time. I think if Fox had actually got to really establish their universe and then still kind of bowed out in this movie in
Mm.
by folding into Disney, you know, let's say like Fox did make a cohesive, Marvel universe. It would be interesting to see a movie that is less small cameos in a void and a real like celebration of their universe of like aesthetics and what they tried to make, like the Black Leather X-Men, you know, like the Jessica Alba, you
Yeah.
know, but that's the thing, that's another universe where those movies got to be more cohesive and together, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like what's cool about this is that Marvel owes nothing to these franchises at the end of the day to make good on like their work. That was somebody
Hmm.
else's work, but they see the importance of it and they see the reverence that people have for it, and they're like, we can pass on the torch a little bit, I think. And I think for the most part they did a really good job. I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy to see that, and I'm really happy to see a clear kind of, you know, get back for Marvel right now, what they need
I get it.
most
And
of all.
then, how did you like all those cameos about Wolverine? For me, I really liked it. I think it's a little bit fan service. I got it
Absolutely.
for real. Like I got too much, but I got it. I loved all those universes. I would have liked to see them more. Maybe see one of them come back, like at the end. I don't know, but yeah, that little Wolverine man
I didn't love the
in the
framing of
spot. No,
that. I didn't love the
no,
framing of that.
I
I feel
get
like
it.
they were
I get
trying to
it.
disrespect.
I get it. But at the end, I get it. But I like no, I like the joke. I like the fact that it was like I don't know. I got caught in it. I was in it already.
I feel like they
Until
just didn't realize in that moment that, like, yeah, people really do appreciate a comics accurate Wolverine. It's just true. Like a 5'2", you know, cute
it
fur
was
ball of a
perfect.
man,
It
and
was
that's
the
great.
real Wolverine, man.
Yeah, and
I don't know. For
I
me, it
think
was
the
like
framing is what
it's a
made it
nice one.
seem more like, oh my god, he's so tiny, you know.
Yeah,
But
I know, but
I think for me, I would still appreciate a newer version that's not necessarily 5'2", but for example, I've always maintained, get Taron Egerton to play Wolverine if you're gonna
yeah, but
recast.
right now
I'd really
it's Hugh
like to see it.
Jackman. I
Yeah,
don't think it's
it's
gonna change
it's definitely a
for
Hugh
another
Jackman
10
renaissance.
years, bro.
Hmm.
It's for sure it's gonna be Hugh Jackman for another 10 years minimum. Like maybe somebody will come and do a Wolverine one again and restart the whole
Well,
thing. But
it's the same thing with Blade. I think, you know, remaking, well, not remaking, but doing a new version of Blade with Mahershala Ali is a very hard task for Marvel, clearly. And I think
I think it could work, bro.
it can work, but I think what needs to happen is it needs to have a clear understanding of what made the first Blade, especially the first
Yeah,
two Blade films, work.
work. Yeah, yeah.
And I think like core
Because
things like
even the
a club fight scene, for example,
yeah,
like is
yeah,
necessary.
for
You
sure.
know, like
Yeah, for
some
sure,
hard
for sure.
techno playing, you know, and Blade enjoying what he's doing and having fun with it. Not this overtly dark, brooding character that's trying to mimic like a Batman. I don't think we
But
need that.
wait. That's the thing with Batman. You recognize something in the picture too, and in Blade, it's a little bit the same thing. Like we have a vision of what is Blade like. It needs to be dense. It needs to be like heavy. You know what I mean? I don't think that if you do a like a low key kind of Marvel kind of Blade, I don't think it's gonna go that deep. Like
I
listen, Blade worked with people that don't like superheroes. Blade went to like every home. It was an action movie. It was a superhero movie. It was a fantastic movie, like
absolutely.
in the sci-fi. Like it went in a lot of parents watch Blade like it's a good movie. Like
Hmm.
it's not a superhero categorized movie. I think so. That's where it cannot be like only a feel good kind of vibe or like a
Well, I think
action kind of vibe. That's my take on
less
it.
of just a feel good or just an action vibe. I'm talking really just that it needs to retain the fun. You can't have no brooding. It's not that it
Mm.
doesn't need to be no darkness. There needs to be a lot of darkness, of course. His situation, his origin is dark in and of
Yeah,
itself, right?
exactly. Like
But
everything is that
but
we know, but
Marvel has a very good hand at having fun with a lot of their characters at times. Not all the time, but at times. And I want to see them do that with Blade. I don't think Blade should just be fun in an Avengers movie. I think Blade should be fun in his own movie. And I think that when you see Wesley Snipes having this much fun, throwing up a AT4 whatever bazooka and shooting it, you know what I mean, having the
mhm,
time of his life doing a 1-2 flip and slice, it's great, you know, like it's
mhm.
great to see that. And I think Mahershala could really take the torch and
I
pass it
think
on.
he could. I think he could seriously. I think
Mhm.
if it's well made, it's good. People will be there and it's gonna work for sure.
And I think
Like
it,
I
it,
think
go
Wesley
ahead.
Snipes gonna come back though. I
I
think
think yeah, I think a lot of
he's
these
gonna do a little
characters.
cameo, and that's where everything's gonna make
I think a
sense.
lot of these
Like,
characters are going to come back for Secret Wars. I think that's going to be a big thing. Secret
mm,
Wars, look out, y'all, look out. Secret Wars is going to be the thing for me that I think is going to tie all this like cameo business, multiverse business together. Allow a lot of these cameos to kind of just come forth and have fun as supporting cast. I think a good example to take from Deadpool for these Secret Wars films
mm,
is to allow your cameos to be supporting cast as much as you can. Like really let them
mm.
function as a real role within the narrative, not just that, oh my god, I got to see this person, woo. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like I think that that really now because we're so used to just being able to like that spot that cameo, I feel it's like stronger now with like more of a there's a word for it, but more of a tight focus now. Like give us a tight focus on some cameo characters. For example, imagine if you got to watch Secret Wars and your principal like cameo characters were Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Tobey Maguire's Spider Man. You know what I mean? And they were having like a like kind of like as co-leads in a film with a bunch of other actors all from the MCU. You know what I mean? It would be really cool to see that. Like I'm not saying the entire
Yeah, for
film,
sure. But I think
but
that's like the next step. Like right now, they're still like going through their timelines and mixing timelines, but eventually they're gonna be at the end of everything, and they're just gonna be like, okay, let's put Wolverine with Blade, and like they're all gonna be like
and
together
just
after
like
that
kind of
movie, and
wrap it
it's
up.
gonna be well, it's gonna be a movie about them, and after it could go on another kind of way, and I don't know. I see it like Disney is always pushing the boundaries of making money, right? So
They
there's gonna
will
be
they
those
know no
young versions.
bounds.
Listen. Seriously, that little dog. It's great. That Deadpool dog was great, but it's really like it's really made me thinking about like all the useless of putting that dog there. Is it like a dog that always have been with Deadpool and I don't know it? Can you tell me?
I honestly don't recall if
I don't.
dog pool
Yeah,
is like
but
a thing in the books. It might in the comics. It might be.
might be, but
I'm gonna be real. You know what it is. It's merchandise. It's like the Baby Yoda thing,
exactly.
and
I think it's
that
all
is
about
a
merchandises, and I
that's
think they
just a
could
part of
push
the
it very
business.
far. So what you're saying for me makes a lot of sense. Like for sure, they're gonna try to do those movies that people will all go see Toby Maguire and Hugh Jackman fight, bro. Like
You know,
for sure, man.
just
Like
for the merchandise
just for
alone.
the yeah,
You
man. Just
know,
for the merchandise alone, bro.
and
I
it's
think
like a viewer's
you're right on
interest
that.
at the end of the day really relies on the spectacle with Marvel. And I think like Deadpool and Wolverine has inherent spectacle. So viewers are a little bit more like, make sure the cameos are extra good. Make sure that they
Hmm.
feel long and rewarding as much as they can. And I think for the most part, that was what was done. I do think X-23 was done the biggest disservice though. We should have gotten a core action moment with Laura's character and like just allowing that like to breathe a little bit because
Oh yeah, for
she
sure.
just slices Juggernaut's ankle and then throws the bag. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the same with Jennifer Garner's Electra. I think they could have had a back-to-back moment that would have been really cool. That I think if somebody who had a more action oriented hand could have kind of put in there. I think Sean
But
Levy. That's where I'm kind of happy. Sean Levy is not the one to be directing the Secret
mhm.
Wars films because I feel like the Russos have a good handle on that, and I think that that's what will at least get that from them.
But that's the impression I got from the whole movie. It was a little too the script was a little too shorted. That's the impression. Let's say that, like to give them the benefits of the doubt that it's a thing that they maybe did at the last minute. But it's like if they didn't like finish the script or they didn't like went far in the script, like that was too fast. Didn't put like at the big like you said with the uh, all those Wolverines super quick. Like everything was really a lot of fan service. So, but we're all happy at the end. So it works at the end. Like
And
there's
the
so many
money is
happy
made.
moments.
The money's made for them at the
The
end of the
money is
day,
made
right?
exactly.
And it's like that sort of stuff. The things that we're looking at and analyzing on are things they look at as nitpicks. They don't really care at the end of the day. I think they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Those deep cuts don't matter as much
Bro,
for them.
did you see it at the theater? What it was like the buckets that they were selling? It was that Deadpool head, but there was that Deadpool head that's a skeleton. Man, we saw it. 1 second in the whole movie,
Yeah,
bro. But it's enough to put it like
I didn't even realize they were
it's a
selling that.
great bucket, bro. Yeah, and I think the third one was like the Wolverine head. If I don't if I'm right, but I'm sure that the both was the Deadpool and the Deadpool with the skeleton. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, there's gonna be something with a skeleton, but it went so fast, bro. Like
I
I
feel
don't
like
know, it's really fan service, bro. I love
we're
it.
also looking at it from the meta business perspective because the film
Hmm.
presents that so clearly. Like there's so much of that as jokes and so much of that within the film as as a narrative point. So
But is
I
it
feel like
perfect? You're like
that's
saying it, showing it, doing it, everything
yeah.
is there's a limit. For me, it's like too much. Like that's what I was talking about for the movie.
I'm into it. I liked it for the most part. I
Mhm.
think that there was definitely some misses, but the amount of hits that landed with the jokes in this film really works for me. Like I
Mhm.
enjoyed that just entirely. I really liked it. I really did. Like as much as I have some of these gripes and these are for me these are small notes that I think would have impacted the film deeper with all of them being adjusted in my eyes. But at the
Mm.
same time, what I got, I'm happy with. That the fight scenes satisfied me for the most part.
The
Uh,
fight scene satisfied me
the
too.
music, I really
I
liked some of
liked
the
it. And
music
when he put
cues
his
too.
mask on, man,
Yeah, there's nothing
that
like
hit
that
the
cowl.
spot. That
That
was
cowl
great.
drop is
I
chef's
didn't get
kiss.
though the part that he had like the sleeves on his costume, and then you realize and he doesn't have the
I
sleeves
think it's
anymore.
when they were fighting
Like,
in the car. I'm
yeah,
pretty
maybe I
sure
didn't get that
it
detail
happens
enough. I
quickly,
was
but
like, it went so quick. Like, man,
I maintain just like my boy Hakeem said, he should have had the shoulders still. I would have liked the shoulders still while he
well,
was.
that was necessary. And when you watch every promotion, he has the shoulders.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
where I
true.
was like, it's not there. I was wondering.
Yeah, that's real talk. That's real talk. But you know what? I will say this: cinematography, Marvel, step it up, please. There was some good stuff here, but just step it up, bro. Step it up. Look,
It's because we know you could do
we know you
it.
can.
We
We know
saw
you can.
it.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
We have. Real talk. But you already know, you guys, this is our spoiler cast, our review and breakdown of Deadpool and Wolverine. We really enjoyed it, I think, for the most part, despite the gripes and the couple, ones and twos. But I think overall, they did a good job. Shouts out Ryan. Shouts out. Shouts out Hugh. And shouts out Channing and Wesley. We love you. We love you, bro.
A great moment in theater, seriously. It
Real
was
talk.
Carlo, and that's
You
Kaya,
already
and we'll
know.
see you next time.
On
If
the
you want to
crossover
just like
cinema.
and subscribe, just come on, let's go, Kaya.
Yes, sir. Crossover Cinema Podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place, baby. You already know what it
See you
is.
guys.
Ciao.